Y'all still there?
Yes, sir. The
Yeah.
live stream's preparing. I'll tell you as soon as it's ready for
All right.
All right, we're good. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Well, we'll call the September monthly meeting of the Talbot County Board of Tax Assessors to order. Let's see. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda and any additions. Does anyone see any propose any changes to the agenda?
I would like to add a C1 under new business under those appeals to get authorization to forward those to the Board of Equalization once we're prepared to do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I think we can discuss that under your appeals report since it's under new business there.
Okay.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Let's see. Under old business, first item is update on the sales ratio study.
Dan, you had asked me to leave that standing, but I don't have any update at this time.
Okay. What are you anticipating on that? Of course, I see the news reports that at least nationally, I think like home prices have been staying steady.
We haven't seen any decline at this point at all.
When were you going to circle back around with our consultants? I believe that they were going. They had offered to help review the sales. I guess it was May. I believe it was our May meeting where we tabled the.
Right. We'll have time to do that at the beginning of next year. Once the sales for this year close out, there'll be plenty of time to do that because, you know, everything's already together. We'll just have to look at the sales that have taken place.
So you're anticipating probably not bringing it back to us as a board for any action until after the first of the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thanks. That's what I was curious about. Any further questions for Lauren on the status of the sales ratio study? If none, we'll move on. The next time is approve the minutes. Let's see, we've got the minutes from the February 3rd meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve those as presented?
All or just February 3rd?
We're going to do them one
I
at a
guess
time.
We've got to do one at a time. To say, Lauren, okay.
Okay. I move that we approve the February 3rd minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes. Let's see, then, has everyone had a chance to review the February 24th meeting minutes? Do we have a motion to approve those as presented?
I move that we approve the February 24th meeting minutes as presented.
Second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's see, has everyone had a chance to review the April 3rd minutes?
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to approve those as presented?
I move that we approve the April 3rd minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, then we've got the April 17th minutes. Has everyone reviewed those?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve those as presented.
I move that we approve the April 17 minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, if there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, do we have a motion to approve the May 6th minutes as presented?
I move that we approve the May 6th minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, all those, if no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, let's see, do we have a motion to approve the May 20th minutes as
I
presented?
move that we approve the May 20th minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, if no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, then, has everyone reviewed the June 24th minutes?
Yes.
I do have a motion to approve those as presented.
I move that we approve the June 24th minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then, do we have has everyone reviewed the July 29th minutes?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to approve those as presented?
I move that we approve the July 29th minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Let's see then. Let's have no discussion with all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And let's see, Lauren, I believe that gets our minutes caught up to date.
Yes, sir. I did not put the executive session minutes on here because I felt like those really did need to be approved in person. And so we'll just handle those whenever we're able to meet together.
But we all need to just stop by and sign the minutes packages now.
Yes, sir. And if y'all will just, we can either make arrangements to bring them to your house and let you sign them there, or you can pull up through the drive-through and ring the bell and we'll bring the packets out for signatures to you, either however you want to do it.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and put the executive session part with those, and when we look at it, if any of us have comments or changes, we can coordinate with you at that time. I know those have separate signatures as well, but we can get those caught up as well.
Okay, sure.
So, all right, let's see, moving on. The next item is a status update on the personal property audit. Let's see, Lauren, what's going on?
Okay, y'all should have a report that's in like landscape, and it's got some, it starts off at the top, it says audit status summary. And this summary report shows everything that's been completed over the last 3 months. You'll find that there are only 5 marine accounts remaining, so the Marines are almost 98% completed. And so we still have 241 businesses remaining. Those are about 40% complete. We've sent some more letters requesting information, and we have been getting responses to those. Everything looks good. As you can see, we've got quite a few audits to approve the assessment notices in this minutes packet as well. So I think it's moving forward well. They're anticipating the audit being completed by the end of the year.
Okay, and you're showing the total there of 250 remaining out of 644 total.
Yes, sir.
And so that's showing 62.8 or 63% that's complete to date. And looks like roughly 39% showing remain. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's Okay, 62%, 63, so 27% remaining. Okay. It looks like then on these remaining, you'll have the audit reports for us to approve, like we've been doing on the like we've seen the marine accounts and so forth to date, and cell towers and all.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like then we can anticipate a right good bit of business probably in the coming months as we near year end. Is that
Yes, sir.
okay?
I've got
Do
a
we need
question.
to plan on do? Okay. Go ahead, Omar.
What does audits over contract mean?
We had estimated a certain number of audits to be done when we signed the contract based on the accounts that were in the system. And like, so we've got 17 more accounts that they're gonna end up auditing than we had in the contract.
Hmm.
Like through discovery processes, there were 2 airplanes discovered that had never been registered in the county, things like that, businesses that had not previously been discovered. So that's what audits over contract means.
Okay.
Remind us though, the contract is lump sum?
It is, yes, sir.
So the risk was on the consultant, but it could have been, your estimate could have been higher or lower had businesses closed and so on, or boats been sold. It could have been lower or higher, and they get the same flat fee regardless. Is that correct? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the update. Are there any further questions on the status update? And let's see, Lauren, looks like the second item, you've got some audit reports.
Yes, sir. And I think you were getting ready to ask me about the time that it was going to take to review the audits during the meeting. Is that what you were about to say?
Right. I was just curious about in looking ahead next month in November and December, if we needed to allow or just be prepared for lengthy meetings.
Well, what I'm thinking, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you get your meeting packets a day or 2 ahead of the meeting, you should be able to review the audits, and they could just be approved en masse as presented, unless, like, if, for instance, if you look through your packet and you saw that there was account number, and I'm just gonna randomly say 0000, you could say, there could be a motion made like approve all presented with the exception of 0000, and then we could discuss that one and y'all could decide what you wanted to do. So I feel like we could move through them fairly quickly if everybody did their due diligence prior to the meeting.
That's good. Sounds a good idea to me.
Yeah, that'd be helpful to.
Because y'all received each one of the audits today. Well, yesterday, when you got your meeting packets, that all of the audits that we are approving for this meeting were in those meeting packets. I did, if we're ready to start on that, I did have a couple of things to say about
Is that the next page that starts out ADT LLC Georgia at the top, or is this?
Hold on. I'm trying to get there myself. Okay. Yes, sir. ADT LLC Georgia / Woodland. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, just walk us through what you want to.
Okay. I was just going to bring to y'all's attention that on these accounts, there's a lot of reallocation of assets. When you see a business that has multiple edits, and then like this one at the top says Woodland, they had previously been returned kind of lumped together, so the appropriate cities it wasn't being listed for the appropriate districts that they were taxed in. And so a lot of this audit concerns reallocation of assets to the appropriate district as well as discovery. So on those audits that you see numerous pages for the same business, that's going to be the gist of those. Does that make sense?
I guess, let's see. And the ADT, is that, what is that? Is that home security?
It is.
Okay. So they own their equipment where they have it in this Woodland, Talbotton. This is the different taxing jurisdictions. Okay.
So, okay, so that's those. You want me just to go through all these very quickly, and then if y'all have any questions, you can stop me.
I would like for you to, yeah.
Okay. So, the Baxter Healthcare, that one was just the audit for the 2019 year. They did not have an account previously. And, so that one's pretty self-explanatory. Let's see.
Let's hold on a minute, Lauren. Let's see on the ADT. Let's see if that was the first one I'm looking at. Were there any questions on those?
It's showing each sheet, well, for Woodland anyway, it's showing us the audited number is going down. Like in 2017, for Woodland, it was 291, and for 2018, it was 254, and for 2019, it's 235. What?
It's
what's
probably
happening?
depreciation on the same equipment. Like if they had the same equipment each year, it's depreciated.
Okay. Okay, so I was thinking these were, so when we see ADT for Woodland, that's one company, that's one company, one account. Is that correct?
That's one company and that has equipment inside that taxing district, because the city of Woodland gets taxes on anything. They also get a portion of the taxes on anything that's within their city limits. So the company in itself may or may not own enough equipment to meet the $7,500 threshold. It doesn't matter whether the equipment's in the city of Talbotton or in the county or in Woodland, if the total reaches 7,500. So it's one owner with separate accounts by taxing jurisdiction.
Okay.
And then I see the next page is Talbotton ADT. And then the next page looks like it's county unincorporated.
Correct.
And then there's a page you got Geneva. And for Geneva's only one year, 2018. I'm looking at it.
Right. And they must have just had assets in the city during that 1 year.
Okay, so. And that, okay. And I assume that's the 80, that's that home security.
Yes, sir.
Where just scattered around, different folks have basically, I guess they pay ADT like that security service or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, if there are no further questions on ADT, then we'll let you move on to Baxter Healthcare.
Okay. So
We're just slow. You'll have to bear with us, Lauren.
that's fine. The Baxter Healthcare, There's a summary there for 17, 18, and 19. And it shows what they returned versus what was audited. So it's a return. I mean, it's a refund for all 3 years for them.
Yeah.
Can I move forward?
This is on these big swings.
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay.
And nobody, unless anyone has questions, if are there any questions on,
This is Baxter Healthcare also, but it's a different account number. And there were no variances on these accounts. Everything was good. The 2019 that is showing assessed and audited, that's the city of Talbotton only. And then if y'all are good, I'll move to the next one.
yeah, if there's no questions, we'll move on to
Who is Baxter Healthcare? Are they-
I would assume that they're probably like a medical equipment company, like that has, that puts like oxygen tanks or
Oh, yeah.
beds or something like that,
Mhm.
and that people have in their homes. They lease them.
Okay.
So this next one is Caslin Loan Services. They had actually not filed a return previously for any of the years, and so this was an account that was picked up. Mr. McCamp, this will be one of those that was not. It was one of the 17 that was not originally in the contract.
Mhm.
And so this is a pickup on all 3 years for unreturned property. And you'll see, because there was no return, that there's a figure in the value subject to penalty line. Any questions?
So what does this mean? Like for 2017, he's gonna be taxed on $21,077.
Yes, sir.
And for the next year, 30, and the next year, 27. Does he know this?
Well, what's happening is y'all are approving, and as soon as these get approved, he'll get an assessment notice telling him what the results were. But
well, he
I'm
knows the
sure.
audit. I guess because of the equipment and all, Jan and the consultant have probably visited the business and inventory and done an inventory.
Right, and
audit
so
with
I'm sure that they are expecting this because they know at this point that they failed to make a return and that there was equipment that they hadn't paid taxes on.
Mhm. And if I understand too, the law allows us to go back to 3 years, but anything prior to that was just to the business's benefit. They don't, like for 16, they didn't pay taxes, and there's nothing that the county can do at this point, right? Just we pick up the 3 years. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And so it's like a mistake. Anybody if there was a mistake on the county's part, you can go back 3 years and correct it. But beyond that, it's just too late or whatever. Okay. Well, it looks like this one demonstrates the value of this audit. To find these 17 accounts that folks that are businesses or what that should have been paying taxes and weren't.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, Omar, did that get your question, Omar?
It does. It's huge, big numbers for 2 years, and then I know it's value subject to penalty on the 3rd year. I mean, in 2019, only 870. versus 12 and 19, the previous.
Okay, so the way that value subject to penalty works is once we discover the property, we can't penalize them on it every year. So the
Okay.
next year, we can only penalize them, like, once we've penalized them on the equipment that they had in 2017, we can't penalize them again on that same equipment in 2018. So in 2018, they must have bought more new equipment totaling $12,432, and that's what they're getting penalized on at that point. And then in 2019, they only bought $870 worth of new equipment.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. You've answered my question.
Okay.
Okay,
Now, this next one's Dish Network. And it's going to be very similar to the ADT. As you'll see, it's showing Geneva, and they're broke down by the cities. So, there's Geneva, Junction City, Manchester, Talbotton, Woodland, and then the unincorporated. Are y'all good with those?
does anyone have any questions about Dish Network? Or any of the? And it looks like the last page, let's see. Well, I guess it's different accounts, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're different accounts
Okay.
because they're in different taxing jurisdictions.
Okay. I guess this is like, I guess the ADT where if folks don't pay their cable, the satellite bill, the Dish Network comes and gets their equipment. They own the,
Well, no, Dish Network owns their equipment. You just lease it.
Right.
usually, right?
So
So the net- so the
satellite
co- Dish-
boxes, the satellite boxes inside the house, the dish theirself, all of that is owned by the company, and they have to pay taxes on it.
Right, so this then varies year by year is different customers get the satellite and then some have it and then let it go and that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's a constant, okay. All right, let's see if there's no questions, we'll let Lauren move on to the next one.
Public service. There was very little variance here. So that one, I don't,
Is this a cell tower, looks like,
yes, sir,
or tower, or telephone tower, okay?
it is. Now this next one, Gilly Development, that's also a cell phone tower. Well, it's equipment that's on a cell phone tower. They had actually had an account in the county since 2005 that was never picked up. And then, so we picked it up for 2017, but then in 2018, they sold it to a different company, which we've already done the audit on them. So the Gilly Development only owes for the 1 year because the audit was for 17, 18, and 19.
So this again, is this one of the new 17 new accounts?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, I guess we can move on to Flint River.
Okay.
Before we do, look at Gilly,
Yes,
why
sir.
value subject to penalty 34,502, but the 45-day NOA is 37,000.
Well, because we can only penalize them on the property that they had not returned. So I'm assuming, oh, no, excuse me, to make the penalty, I think that's the reason that is because to make it calculate the penalty properly, you have to change the value that goes out on the notice of assessment to make the penalty calculate correctly on the tax commissioner side. I don't really know a good way to explain that.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, but it does, I see it does look odd that all the numbers are 34.5. Till the bottom, it's 37.5, so, okay, well, you might ask Jan and, you might just need to look into that one, make sure it's correct.
Okay, I will.
Just ask her what's the difference
Okay, y'all
in those two.
hold on just a second, and just give me just a minute and I'll. Okay, she's calling the consultants and she will have an answer for us and we'll come back to that one, okay?
Okay.
So Flint River Outdoor Center is next. Do y'all have any questions here? It looks like basically they were turning in all of their inventory, but not any of their machinery, furniture, or fixtures. So that's the majority of the audit for this account. The findings are on the furniture and fixtures.
Okay, let's see, any questions on the Flint River Outdoor Center? Okay, you want to move on, Lauren? Let's see.
Sure. Okay, Talbotton Beverage had a duplicate account. And so this first account that you see here is actually, it's just getting credited all the way across to delete this account because everything's going to be taxed in the next account. So this one's just a delete because for whatever reason it had been, Talbotton Beverage had two accounts. So here is the one where their audit actually took place. And there were findings for each year. Any questions?
Okay, I guess we can move on.
This is a boat. It's pretty straightforward. Any questions here? Okay. Another boat. Another boat.
Let's see, you're on Terry Wilkie.
Yep, that's the last
Wilkie.
one.
Okay.
So, do y'all want to make a motion to approve all audit, reports as presented with the exception of Gilly? Or do you want, how do you want to handle Gilly? Do
Let's
y'all
just go
want
ahead
to
and prove them
approve that
all. Yeah, let's approve them,
conditionally?
but you know, you go ahead and, we'll approve them, but you double check, make sure that's right.
Yes, sir.
And you just verify, and if you need to pull it out, you can pull it out if it's wrong, but we'll just go ahead and approve them all as presented.
Great. Mr.
Ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I move that we approve the audit reports as, all audit reports as presented.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, thanks. Let's see, then that moves us on to new business. Let's see, Lauren, you were gonna give us an update on the DOR memo.
Yes, sir. Okay. Y'all all have a copy of that in your packet. And, so we received this, and then the following day we were told that that it was probably going to be rescinded. And so we just kind of just sat in limbo for a few days, but then there was it was not rescinded. So with that being said, it extended all appeal deadlines to August the 27th. And also clarified this section right here that says grants relief from any deadlines or other time schedules or filing requirements imposed by applicable statutes, rules, or regulations, which would also cover homestead applications, the conservation and FLIPA, which we handled the conservation and FLIPA. Anybody that wanted to was able to handle that during the appeal, but the homesteads did not have that luxury. And so I did check with DOR, and they said that they felt like this wording applied to the homesteads as well. And so
Where
with that,
where were you reading at?
where
I've got the August
right, the
17th
paragraph
memo.
that starts to pursuant to,
Okay,
on the second line, it says suspends, extends, and otherwise grants relief from any deadlines or other time schedules. So that would override the April 1st deadline for the homestead. So, and we had one appeal come in after our notices of assessment appeal period ended, but before this August the 27th deadline. So I just wanted y'all to be aware of this so that when we come down to the homestead applications and the appeals report, that you would understand what we were going to do on those items.
okay. And if I
then,
understand, y'all have revised the, that digest packet, the one I signed here a week or so ago. You've revised it. I've got to go by and sign everything again. Is that right?
well, not everything. There were certain pages that they said that it was fine for us to turn in, but all the pages that were dealing with the appeals have to have a date after, August the 27th on them.
But then if I understand right, we're approving some additional homesteads today, is that right?
Yeah, but but it won't affect any of the signature packet.
But did that affect any of the grand totals? You know,
It will, but it will be handled through error and releases, and that's not abnormal.
oh, okay. Okay, all right, thanks. So let's see, this is just an update on the memo. Did anyone have any questions for Lauren about this memo from the from the Department of Revenue? Okay, all right, thanks for the update on that. That helps clarify. And I know you shared it in your email, but this helps clarify it. Okay, then the next item is a budget report.
Yes, sir. And this is through the end of June. And I honestly, I think that the last time we met, we had this report through the end of June because we talked about some of these accounts being over. And the fact that once they closed the year out, the county commissioners had agreed to give us the funds for our contract labor and that sort of thing. Because overall we have a positive balance of $13,700, even though some of the accounts are in the negative. And then we also had an agreement from the county commissioners to give us an extra $10,000. So for the year end, we were in the black.
Okay, did anyone have questions for Lauren on the budget report?
What's PTD?
Paid to date.
Paid today? Paid
Yes.
today, okay.
And that's this one period, isn't it, where it says, because of 29,000, that would have been the 1 month, is that right?
Yeah,
that-
because the next column's the year to date.
That current paid to date is the monthly.
So this is for the month of June.
Uh-huh.
Our fiscal year is July, starts in July, does it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this current year to date, basically that's the end of year.
Yes.
Except for she hasn't made the adjustments on the accounts that need adjustments made to them, like where we were moving money from one line item to another to cover things. Like on the line item for map maintenance, we've got $7,000 that was going to be moved over to the contract labor, and then the county commissioners were giving us the remaining. So she hasn't like finished adjusting all the line items yet.
Okay. Did you find any corrections, Lauren? I know you review it to make, I know every now and then you'll find where charges for another department, were mistakenly charged to your budget. Did you have any issues like that
No,
lately?
sir.
Okay.
And also, the county commissioners did get word that everything that had been purchased for COVID, even like the Zoom subscriptions and that sort of thing, will be reimbursed through the CARES Act. And so I don't know exactly how that'll work. I guess it will go back into the general fund.
Yes.
So, but everything that we spent, those things came out of our budget, and they weren't budgeted for, but the county will be getting reimbursed for them in the long run.
Okay, so, that was things like the changes at the office, the window and the door and the speaker system at the carport and Zoom and those kind of things and mask and protective
Yes, sir.
equipment. Okay. All right, let's see, if there's no further questions on this report, we'll move on to the current appeals report.
Okay. So we ended up with 19 appeals to be sent. I was looking, there's one appeal that should be in here that's not showing, so there are 20 appeals. The other appeal has a 30-day notice out on it right now, and it's for John Rowland. He was appealing his mobile home value. I don't know why it's not showing on this report. I'll have to check on that. But so we have 20 active appeals at this time.
Okay, well, let's see, if I'm counting, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 6, that'd be 20 appeals involving 7 different property owners.
Yes, sir.
We've got a number of them here that are warehousing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then let's say, I believe based on what we saw in the DOR memo was that the August 27th was the deadline for appeals.
Yes, sir.
So let's say, I believe you said at the beginning of the meeting that you were going to ask for a motion for us to approve sending those to the clerk of court or the Board of Equalization.
Yes, would like for there to be a motion to authorize the chief appraiser to certify the appeals to the clerk of Superior Court once I'm ready to do that. So that if I get ready before we have the next meeting, I'll have the authorization to do it.
Okay. Let's see, Lauren is seeking authorization for the authority to forward the appeals to the Board of Equalization or to the clerk of Superior Court as the administrator for the BOE. Do we have a motion?
I move that the chief appraiser be authorized to provide the appeal, the appeal, well, to review the, tell me again.
Certify the appeals to the clerk of
Certify.
Superior Court.
Okay.
I move that the chief appraiser be authorized to certify the appeals to the
Clerk
to
of
the
Court.
clerk of the Superior Court.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Okay. Let's see then, let's see, the next item is the error and release approval.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we have not approved error releases since January. So I had a pretty large report there. These are any changes that we've made to real or personal property, including the audits that you guys have already approved. Like you'll see all of these Verizons, y'all have already approved those. But we still have to give those correction notices to the tax commissioner's office, and they have to be signed by the chairman of the board of assessors. So the board has to approve the chairman signing those. So we have all of these personal property accounts. We have already discussed them in the normal course of business. And then the ones that are real property are changes that I have made to send assessment notice, 30-day correction notices, that sort of thing. So we just need to approve the listing for the error and releases.
Okay. Let's see, looks like there are only a couple of the, let's see, I see most of the accounts are personal. I see one down about a third of the way down the page says real property. I see the values stay the same. But would that be adding in one of the exemptions or something, or
Yes, sir, more than likely.
more than likely it'd be the homestead or something? I see there's 2 or 3, but they looks like the value was unchanged.
Well, you've got to remember also that this original value is last year's value. This revised value is the value. So it could have been that in their assessment notice, for some reason, the value went up and then we reduced it to what it was the year before. Now I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying that's also a possibility. It more than likely is where a exemption was added. But that original is not what we sent out on the assessment notice. That's last year's number.
Okay.
So we're looking at the ACO summary batch, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me make sure I understand. Let's take first guy, Larry Gideon. What are we saying?
Okay, so this is probably a boat, and y'all had already it's personal property. You can see that under the account type. And during the audit, we found that the value was $44,900 instead of the $58,000. And so we have to give a piece of paper to the tax commissioner's office so that they can edit and revise the bill and send a new bill to the tax commissioner's office. So this is the piece of paper that gets that done, so that when the tax commissioner's office gets audited, they will have something from us to show why they gave those people money back.
Gotcha.
Okay, and let's see, Lauren, you're seeking our approval for these errors and releases.
Right,
So
because
each one of these, you got an error and release form that I have to sign.
yes, sir,
You know, those already prepared and ready,
they are.
stacked up. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see, do we have a motion then to approve the error and releases as presented?
I move that we approve the error and releases as presented.
Second.
All right, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, all right, motion passes. Let's see, the next item is the homestead applications for 2020.
Okay, so basically, these two homesteads, y'all have already approved them for 2021, but because of the memo from the Department of Revenue, they are going to apply for the 2020 year.
Mhm.
And so, like, y'all will see these next month on that error and release sheet, because we'll have to give the tax commissioner the paperwork necessary for them to edit these two bills.
And just to clarify then, they came in after April 1st. You've already presented them at an earlier meeting for approval for this next year, next January for 2021. But because of the memo that came in last week that said extend all the applicable deadlines in the code section, they now also are eligible and need to be applied to 2020 as well,
Right,
because
and
the folks were living in there this past January and would have been eligible had they met a deadline.
And also, now there were other applications also, but you see, these are for S4 exemptions, and some of those others were for S4 exemptions, but these were the only two that met the age requirement on January 1st. So if we had somebody apply for this S4 exemption, but they didn't have their birthday until March, even though the deadline got extended, the exemption didn't apply for them at the beginning of the year because they had not had their birthday. They had not met the other requirements yet.
Mm-hmm.
So these were the only two that met all the requirements necessary to get approved based on the memo from the Department of Revenue.
And that's what I was alluding to. So if someone moved into the county in the spring, or they built a new house this year, or, I mean, you're making sure they would have been applicable January the 1st when we're making them like retroactive to the current year.
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's see. So Lauren is seeking an approval or motion to approve these two homesteads that she's got recommend and approve for 2020.
I move that we approve the homestead exemptions as presented.
Second.
And Lauren, I see on the page you had a digest year 2021. Did you mean to make that 2020?
Well, see at the top, this one, when we've been giving y'all this paper, we'd had some for 20 and some for 21. So if you see above the first line item, those are digest year 2020s, but we didn't have any new homesteads for 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong. Okay, I see. So that was blank. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve these two homestead applications for digest year 2020 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks. Let's see. Then let's see. Moving on. Let's see. I see you've got on the agenda homestead applications for 2021.
We don't
But
have
I
any.
see there are none. Okay, so we'll just have none, and then move on to conservation use applications. And I see that you got looks like one you're recommending approval.
Yes, sir. Ms. Stein was the trustee for this irrevocable trust, and they filed an appeal. And during the appeal process, they decided that they would like to put the property into conservation use in lieu of an appeal. And it qualifies, so we're recommending approval.
And if I understand right, then that resolves the appeal.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve this CUBA application as presented?
I move that we approve the CUBA exemption application as presented.
Second.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, thanks. And let's see, do we have any releases or breaches this time?
No, sir.
Okay, so be none. Okay.
Anyone else lost video?
I can still see everybody. I can hear you fine too.
Yeah, I'm able to hear well.
I can hear.
Yeah, I've been repeatedly trying to lock, and the funny thing is my modem shows the lights all blinking like I've got an internet connection, but it just, it's like it times out and I get a message that it cannot reach the server or whatever.
All right.
But
Well,
I've been noticing problems all this week for some reason with my internet. Just seems to be dragging slow. Let's see, Lauren, then we're up to member matters.
yes, sir. They still are just doing the 2 basic classes, certification and course 1. On virtually, they haven't gotten any of the other courses going that you guys need. Dan, I think there is some continuing education that you can get through Carl Vincent. We can check on that if you need to.
Okay. Has there been any update about the where they were postponing the caveat till November? Has there been any update? Is that still?
I haven't
In
got
limbo.
anything. I know the conference, the Wind Gap conference is in Savannah in October has been canceled.
Yeah, I imagine they'll probably cancel it, but I know they had announced earlier that it would be in November. Or I guess like conjunction with a short course they do each year. So, all right, let's see. Omar, did you have anything for the group this time?
Well, prior to your, I guess in an offline discussion, Dan, we had my term expired August 31st. And we, I guess we've gotten a tentative, correct me if I'm wrong, Sandra, tentative approval to go for me to stay on another year. And does that mean that I will need additional training? Is there further paperwork that I need to complete? Do we know any of those things? Lauren?
Mr. McCants, what'll have to happen is you will have to be sworn in again. And that'll take place in the clerk's office. And then within the first 2 years that you're on the board, you have to take certain training classes, but you've taken one because you took one almost immediately. And so you've got the remainder another year to take the next class, but all of that's like pending right now because they're not providing the classes. So it's nothing urgent as far as that goes.
Okay.
But the only thing, and Dan, they told him that they've already had their September meeting, so the Board of Commissioners will have it on the agenda for October meeting. And so once that
Well, I thought there was a notice in the paper that the September meeting was like next Tuesday. Is that right?
Well, Carol said this morning they'd already had it.
We
called
just
her.
talked to her.
Okay. Well, today's just, well, maybe it was just, did they have this? I guess yesterday was the first. So what were you gonna say, that they've still got to officially act?
Yes, but I mean, what they'll do is they'll just extend his appointment. There won't be a lapse. It'll just be extended from the previous meeting. There's nothing abnormal about that. I mean, it happens.
They'll just make it retro since it's going to be in October. It'll come back and be retro to September 1.
Okay. Well, that's great. I just want to make sure we didn't have to, all our motions were not a moot issue today. That
Yeah, we
there's no
checked on
issue.
that before we started.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, so you're gonna stay on top of this and Lauren, make sure we get
Yes, sir.
all the I's dotted and T's crossed with the
Right.
business. Okay. And I appreciate you serving. Like I say, I think I know that I guess the terms are 6 years, but I know when you're ready to hang it up, you can step down at your own pleasure, I think.
Okay. That's
But
fine.
yeah, but again, I want to thank you for your service and your continued service. So, 'cause it's a pleasure having you on the board.
I've learned a lot. I appreciate that.
Sandra, did you have anything this morning?
No, that was it. Just to discuss that, and that was covered real well.
Okay. I guess, let's see, the only update I was going to share with the two of y'all is with all this COVID situation, I've been mostly working from home. And so I joke with folks, I tell them that, you know, when they said we could work remotely, I'm showing them how remote I can work, you know, here in Talbot County. And but anyway, that was sort of a new development here in the past few weeks. So, okay, let's see. Then the next item, let's see, Lauren, you had just update your monthly update report for us.
Yeah, we've been working building permits, so we've been out in the field trying to pick up the new improvements and accessory buildings and that sort of thing. We've been doing that, and we have had to order some new filing cabinets, and we got approval for those from Sandra last week. They should be, I don't have a delivery date on those yet, but we were running out of space to file things, and so we got those. And the other thing is Cindy in the tax commissioner's office has resigned. She's moving back to North Georgia. And so Miss Bishop will be back in the tax commissioner's office within the next couple of weeks. I think Cindy's last day is the 10th of September.
So Lorraine is going to come out of retirement again, I guess, on a temporary basis.
That's my understanding.
Okay. Anything new about the COVID situation?
We got an email yesterday from the county commissioner's office asking us to post a notice on the door that anybody that's coming in the office will be required to wear a face covering. But since we're doing the drive-through, that's not really an issue for us.
Do you know if the Board of Commissioners, are they actually meeting in person and
They are.
they're I guess they're spreading out. Are they still meeting in their regular, or are they moving?
I don't know, Dan. I'm not sure. I'm not positive, but I have the impression that the meetings, are they closed, Sandra?
I am not 100% sure on that either, Lauren.
I know the health department or the Department of Public Health or whatever, the health board is not meeting in person. But I feel like the county commissioners, they couldn't get the online meetings together. They just couldn't get everybody on board with it.
Well, the reason I see on like Columbus News where like the Columbus City Council, I think they were meeting at the
We lose you, Dan?
Yeah.
So,
Hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. I was saying I see in Columbus News where like Columbus City Council was meeting at the auditorium, you know, and sitting, they were spaced out and, you know, had the public, you know, the chairs 6 feet apart and so on. I didn't know, I thought of like our courtroom, but I knew one time the courthouse was closed, wasn't it? For
Well, they're back open, but I mean, as far as what applies to us, I feel like we haven't had any complaints, and this is working well for everybody. I mean, we're able to present the information, and there's not really, it's not taking up any more time than it would if we were meeting in person, and we usually don't have a big public following anyway, so I feel like this meets our needs pretty good.
Well, it has been, but I didn't know if we, if an option, if, I was just curious if they did have a place big enough that they were holding meetings. Because, I thought like even the, but I was just curious what the BOC, what their current practice is. So, but you can let us know. You can find out and let us know.
Okay.
All right. Let's see, Lauren, does that conclude your update?
It does, and Jan just got back with me and told me that that number on Gilly should be the 37,952 and that there was a typo. So, they'll be editing that and we'll send that one out with the corrected number on it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Omar, for bringing that to our attention then.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for the October meeting, the first is on a Thursday, the second is on a Friday. If we were gonna try to stick with the Wednesday, we're gonna need to do the 7th. That work?
7th works for me.
Yeah, let's plan on that. We'll set that tentative.
Okay. 10
October
a.m.,
7th.
right?
Let's see if, yeah, I guess at 10 a.m. on the 7th, so we'll hold that tentative. All right, let's see, does anyone have anything else before we adjourn? All right, let's see, looks like it's 11:20. If there's nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All right, those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. All right, well, thanks everyone, and thanks Lauren. And let's see, you need me to